نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا ومولانا محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم ورسوله النبي الأمين المكين الحنين الكريم الرؤوف الرحيم. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال الله تعالى في شأن حبيبه إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما تحب وترضى بأن تصلي عليه. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Most respected ulama, my respected elders, brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. We'll be discussing the hadith wherein Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the blessed tongue of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam has informed us about 4 categories of people. And they've been classified in terms of their attitude and their approach to wealth and them being bestowed with knowledge. The highest ranking amongst those people with regards to their outlook in terms of their wealth and possessing knowledge is that they give in the path of Allah, they maintain ties of kinship, and they have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they know that there is a right in their wealth for the poor and the needy which is owed to Allah, and they pay it. And the worst amongst them are those who are blessed with wealth but no knowledge, and they end up squandering their wealth. And worse with them are those people who have no wealth but wish that they had it so that they could spend it extravagantly and lavishly. Now, we ask the question, which is greater, knowledge or wealth? There's no doubt about it that wealth, if utilized correctly, has immense spiritual value. In fact, I say having wealth is indispensable in terms of spiritual development. And I don't restrict wealth only to pure financial wealth, but every type of risk and every type of provision. Some people have the wealth of wisdom, some people have the wealth of knowledge, some people have the wealth of tolerance, some have the wealth of patience. So wealth can be, it can include so many other qualities besides just material possessions, whatever it is. But the Holy Prophet ﷺ spoke about the value of knowledge in terms of dunya. Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti in his Rabbana Atina fi dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana, in his famous Tafseer al-Jalalain, Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti says, fi dunya hasana means in the best in the world means ilm. Wa fil akhirati hasana, and the best in the akhirah means Jannah. So the best wealth that you can acquire in this dunya is the wealth of knowledge. The best wealth you can acquire is the wealth of knowledge. Therefore, the Holy Prophet ﷺ said, which a hadith which I recited to you, I mentioned to you early on, but it's part of this hadith narrations here, where the Holy Prophet ﷺ said, and that's our hadith for today, and سمعت أبا هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه يقول سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم يقول ألا إن الدنيا ملعونة ملعون ما فيها إلا ذكر الله وما والاه وعالما أو متعلما أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. The Holy Prophet ﷺ said, indeed the world is cursed. What is in it is cursed, except for the remembrance of Allah, except for the dhikr of Allah. And what is conducive to that, or that will attract you to and inspire you and motivate you to make the dhikr of Allah. And the other 2 blessed things are the knowledgeable person and the student who's willing to learn from his teacher. Meaning the well-guided teacher, right, and the well-tutored student. There's nothing more beneficial in this world than these 4 things. Now, the scholars have stated something very beautifully in terms of knowledge. And they say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has described the ulama, the people of knowledge in the Holy Quran with 5 qualities, right? بِخَمْسِ مَنَاقِبْ أَحَدُهَا الْإِيمَانِ. The first one is Iman. The people of knowledge have been referred to as the people of Iman. وَالرَّاسِخُونَ فِي الْعِلْمِ يَقُولُونَ آمَنَّا بِهِ. Meaning those who are the purveyors of knowledge, one of their outstanding characteristics is that they are people of Iman. And what defines Iman? One of the most beautiful definitions, the highest ranking attributes of Iman is وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. Those who believe are overflowing and intense in their love for Allah. So the ulama have been described as people of Iman. Secondly, وَثَانِيهَا التَّوْحِيدُ وَالشَّهَادَةِ. And they have been characterized with the attributes of Tawheed and the testimony to Tawheed. Meaning they are the ones who advocate Tawheed because they testify to it and live by the concept of Tawheed. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in the Holy Quran, شَهِدَ اللَّهُ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُ الْعِلْمُ شَهِدَ اللَّهُ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ وَأُولُو الْعِلْمِ قَائِمًا بِالْقِسْطِ. So the people of Shahada and the people of Iman with the Malaika and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in terms of Shahada are the people of Ilm. Then the third quality of the people of knowledge is, and this is beautiful, وَثَالِثُهَا الْبُكَاء. And the third attribute of the people of Ilm is their ability to become emotional and to weep in the love of Allah, to weep out of fear of Allah, to weep in awe of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to weep out of absolute state of submission to the state of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-buka. And the Holy Quran says, قُلْ آمِنُوا بِيَوْمِ إِنَّ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ. Verily, those people who are granted knowledge, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ إِذَا يُتْلَى عَلَيْهِمْ يَخِرُّونَ لِلْأَذْقَانِ سُجَّدًا. Right? وَيَقُولُونَ سُبْحَانَ رَبِّنَا إِنْ كَانَ وَعْدُ رَبِّنَا وَيَقُولُونَ. I don't read the whole ayah for you because the ayah says وَيَخِرُّونَ الْأَذْقَانِ يَبْكُونَ. And they begin to cry and they begin to weep when the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are shown to them. So Allah has given a special attribute to the people of Ilm, is that they are people who weep. Something which is lacking in our community. Nobody weeps anymore. We weep for the wrong reasons, right? But we don't weep for the right reasons. Weeping over him, weeping for him subhanahu wa ta'ala, and weeping because of him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then the fourth quality of the people of Ilm is al-khushu'. Right? Absolute humility before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Absolute sincere humility before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ. Sorry, the whole ayat of the Quran is, it says, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاءِ. Right? No. Khushu'. Here, let's use the word khushu' first. There's one is khushu' and one is khashya. Okay, sorry. The one is khushu'. Khushu' is absolute humility and sincere humility before Allah. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ مِنْ قَبْلِ إِذَا يُتْلَى عَلَيْهِمْ يَخِرُّونَ الْأَذْقَانِ سُجَّدًا. You see them there when the people of Ilm, when the ayats of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are presented to them there, they become humble before Allah and so on. And then the final quality is al-khashya, right? A healthy fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A healthy fear in the sense that they are fearful to break the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they are fearful to incur the displeasure of Allah. And this fear is born out of their love. There's different types of fear. You have the abject fear of a coward, but you get the fear that is born out of love. You know, when you love your child, you become fearful for the child. Something will happen to the child. Right? We mustn't do anything to inconvenience the child. Don't do anything to harm the child. There's that constant fear, but it's a fear that is born out of love, not a fear that is born out of the abject behavior exhibited by cowards or whatever it is. No. Right? So these are the 5 qualities of ulama. And then the scholars have spoken about the dunya. Like we said, the dunya is mal'una. It's cursed. But the most beneficial thing in this dunya is wealth if it is utilized correctly. And even higher than that is knowledge. So the scholars have said, ad-dunya bustanun zuyyinat bi khamsati ashya. The scholars have stated that the dunya is like a garden. It's like an orchard. Right? And it has been decorated and it has been embellished by 5 things. What are the 5 things that add beauty to this world in the true sense of the world? Meaning when I mean the world, I don't mean planet Earth. I mean the material life that you and I live, the worldly life that you and I live, the earthly life that you and I live. He says the 5 things that make life beautiful for human beings when they are living in this dunya is ilmul ulama, the knowledge of the scholars. وَعَدْلُ الْأُمَرَاءِ, and the justice of the people in power. Right? And he said the third quality which makes life beautiful is وَأَمَانَةُ التُّجَّارِ, and the honesty of the people who are engaged in business, the businessmen, the honesty of the businessmen. And وَنَصِيحَةُ الْمُحْتَرِفِينَ, and the expert advice of the professionals. The advice of experts. Let's put it that, advice of experts. And he says that those are the 5 things. So what makes life beautiful on planet Earth for believers is the knowledge of the scholars. Secondly, the second one was وَعِبَادَةُ الْعُبَّادِ, and the true, genuine, sincere worship of the worshippers of Allah. And the third one is the honest businessman. And thirdly, he says expert advice. That makes life beautiful. So if you have the pious, if you have the knowledgeable, if you have the honest businessman, and you have experts who can give you advice, right? Which our country needs desperately, right? Life becomes beautiful. But Iblis, فَجَاءَ إِبْلِيسُ بِخَمْسَةِ أَعْلَامٍ فَأَقَامَهَا. But Iblis came to oppose those 5 beautiful things. The first thing being ilm. So what did he put in opposition to ilm? Look what he says there. He said, فَرَكَزَهُ فِي جَنْبِ الْعِلْمِ وَجَاءَ بِالْحَسَدِ. Iblis came with jealousy and envy, and he made it compete with knowledge. How's that? And Isa alayhi salam is reported to have said that the most amount of hasad and envy and jealousy you'll find among scholars. Isa alayhi salam said that, don't blame me. Right? He said the most amount of hasad is amongst scholars. So Iblis said, if the knowledge of people is something that beautifies this world, then let me come with something to oppose it. So he put hasad in the hearts of the scholars, envy for one another. Then he says, and in front of the justice of the people of authority, he put forward from them jawr and tyranny. Jawr and tyranny. So they become harsh in terms of the punishments and whatever it is there. So he wanted to now, upset the balance, so to speak. And then he says, for the people of ibadah, he came with ostentatious display. So the man will engage in ibadah, but he will see, so the people must see, you see, I'm a pious man. So he tried to thwart the abid with ostentatious thing. And then he says, when he came to thwart the honest businessman, he said, وَجَاءَ بِالْخِيَانَةِ. He came with deception. And deception in business in particular. So people take each other for a ride. So he'll destroy it. And then for the last one, right, in terms of amana, right, and real trustworthiness, he said, وَجَاءَ بِالْغِشِّ فَرَكَزَهُ بِجَنَبِ. He said, وَجَاءَ بِالْغِشِّ فَرَزَقَهُ بِجَنْبِ النَّصِيحَةِ. He said, and then he came with people out there who don't have your best interest at heart. And he put that, right, in opposition to expert advice. So like Iblis said, no, go to the tree there. Inna lanhu lanasihun. No, I only wish your best for you, and I only give you the best advice. Iblis said that. So he said, for the people who give you expert advice there, they say the sucker born every minute. Iblis creates him, right? So these are the 4 things that actually cause our spiritual and emotional downfall, and that which embellishes the world again is ilm, amana, right? Ibadah of the ubbad, of the things there, and the nasiha and the advice of experts. May Allah make us from amongst those, inshallah. There was a power issue